Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Donny van de Beek has agreed to join Everton on loan for the remainder of the season. Everton will pay a loan fee and also they will pay Donny van de Beek's full salary. Manchester United and Everton reached an agreement yesterday. There's no buy option in the loan deal as Manchester United want Donny van de Beek for next season. Crystal Palace were also in for him, but Donny van de Beek has decided to go to Everton. It's the right decision to loan him out. He'll get a lot more opportunities at Everton. Donny van de Beek is set to become Frank Lampard's first signing. Frank Lampard is set to be confirmed as Everton's new manager to replace Rafa Benitez. Manchester United got Donny van de Beek from Ajax. Manchester United got him for 40 million with add-ons included. Man United paid 35 million up front. There's 5 million in add-ons. He's under contract with Man United until 2025. There's an option of a further year. And he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Now, I want to give you the breaking news on Mason Greenwood. So, Manchester United have released a statement regarding Mason Greenwood because Mason Greenwood's girlfriend has accused Mason Greenwood of domestic violence. There was images of Greenwood allegedly beating up his girlfriend, and there was also an audio of Greenwood allegedly forcing himself to have sex with his girlfriend. So reflecting on this, there's a good chance that Mason Greenwood's career at Manchester United is over. And there's a good chance that his England career will also be over. It's an absolute disgrace of what's come out about Mason Greenwood. Since Mason Greenwood broke into Manchester United's senior squad, he's made 129 appearances and he's scored 39 goals. Greenwood made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 6. Greenwood's got a contract with Manchester United until June 2025. There's an option to extend for a further year. So that's the news on Mason Greenwood. Will Manchester United make a signing before the transfer window closes tomorrow? Manchester United want a midfielder. Rangnick, when he first came in, he identified Manchester United's midfield as a weakness. Now, there's been a lot of narratives coming out about Boubacar Kamara. Manchester United have held talks with Boubacar Kamara's agents, and Marca said that Manchester United have been leading the race for Kamara. Boubacar Kamara's most likely destination is the Premier League. Marseille want just 10 million for Kamara, and Kamara wants in the region of £150,000 a week if he's to depart Marseille this month. Boubacar Kamara's out of contract at Marseille in the summer. He's only the age of 22. He's predominantly a centre defensive midfielder. He can also be deployed as a centre-back. He's been at Marseille for a long time. He's been with them for 17 years. He risen up their academy. He joined Marseille's academy back in 2005. And since he broke into Marseille's senior squad, he's made over 100 appearances. Manchester United have been linked with Ruben Neves from Wolves, so too have Arsenal. Wolves want between £40 to £45 million if they are to consider offloading Ruben Neves. Manchester United were hoping a bid of around £35 million would have been enough to convince Wolves to offload him. Ruben Neves has got a contract with Wolves until 2024. He's been at Wolves since 2017. Wolves got him from Porto. Wolves paid £15.8 million. Throughout this January transfer window, Manchester United have been linked with Amadou Haidara from RB Leipzig. Earlier on this season, Rangnick said that he wanted Amadou Haidara as his first sign as Man United manager. Rangnick knows the player well, which is beneficial. And Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham have been long-term targets for Man United, and throughout this January transfer window, Manchester United have been relentlessly linked with Denis Zakaria from Borussia Mönchengladbach. So yeah, in this January transfer window, Man United have let quite a few players go out on loan. So obviously Donny van de Beek, he's set to go out on loan to Everton. Martial, he went out on loan to Sevilla until the end of the season. Sevilla didn't pay a loan fee, and there's no buy option. But Sevilla are obviously paying Martial's full wages until the end of the season. Not so long ago, Amad Diallo joined Rangers on loan until the end of the season, no buy option. Man United made the right decision loaning Amad Diallo out because he'll gain more experience and he'll get a lot more opportunities. Only made a few first team appearances for Man United. Amad Diallo recently scored on his Rangers debut. And I think Man United also loaned Ethan Laird out. Most of Manchester United's outgoings will be in the summer. Edinson Cavani, he'll leave Manchester United in the summer. Revert back to earlier on this season, Ralph Rangnick revealed that Edinson Cavani wants to stay at Manchester United until the end of the season. Cavani's contract at Manchester United expires in the summer. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG back in the summer of 2020. Now, like I updated you this morning, River Plate are considering a transfer for Edinson Cavani to replace Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez is set to join Manchester City in a £22.5 million deal. But he's going back out on loan to River Plate until the end of the season. Last year, Cavani was linked with Barcelona. It actually said last year that Cavani agreed to join Barcelona on an 18-month contract. Obviously, Barcelona was seeing him as a replacement for Aguero because Aguero retired due to heart problems. Juventus also went in for him. And last year, Cavani rejected a move to Boca Juniors. Juan Mata, he'll also leave the club this year. Juan Mata's contract at Manchester United expires in the summer. Revert back to last year, Man United extended Juan Mata's contract for a further year. Mata lost his place in the team a while ago, plus he's lost that yard of pace and he's aging up, but despite all of that, Mata has had a good career at Manchester United. You know, Mata's made 276 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 51 goals. Mata's been at Manchester United for 8 years, so reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. Manchester United got Juan Mata from Chelsea back in 2014. Manchester United paid 37.1 million. Jesse Lingard, it's very likely now Manchester United will have to wait until the summer to offload him. Obviously Newcastle went in for Jesse Lingard, but obviously Jesse Lingard's transfer to Newcastle is off because of Manchester United's demands. Manchester United were demanding a loan fee of 15 million, and it said earlier on in this window that Lingard was keen on a loan move to Newcastle, but he said Man United would prefer to let him leave permanently this month. I heard that Lingard rejected an approach from Everton, and I've been hearing that West Ham still want to re-sign him. At the second half of last season, Lingard endured a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. Lingard doesn't get in our team, but he has been part of the club for a long time. You know, Reasonable Power Academy in that. Lingard's contract at Manchester United expires in the summer. Matic, I think he will be departing the club this year. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his opportunities. Matic is the only predominant centre defensive midfielder that Man United have got. I've always had my reservations about him because he's always been a static midfielder, plus he's aging up, but despite that he's had his good games at Man United. Matic is out of contract at Man United in the summer. Manchester United got Matic back in 2017 from Chelsea, got him for 40 million. Phil Jones, you know the news on him. Reports in France have said that Phil Jones is set to join Bordeaux on loan until the end of the season. He did mention that Phil Jones talks are at the final stages. Bordeaux seen him as a replacement for Laurent Koscielny. Phil Jones obviously doesn't get in Man United's team. He did play in the 1-0 defeat to Wolves at Old Trafford earlier on this season. That's because Maguire picked up an injury. No, Jones was our best player against Wolves at Old Trafford. And it was his first Premier League appearance since January 2020. Jones is only the outfield player that's still with us from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. You know, this season is his 11th season at Man United, so reflecting on that, he's been a very long-serving player. Jones is out of contract at Manchester United next year. Erik, he'll also leave the club this year. He doesn't get in the team much. The last game Bailly played was the 3-1 win against Burnley. That was the final game of last year, but he came off injured in that game. Bailly is injury prone, which is a concern. Bailly, by the way, has been at the African Cup of Nations. Earlier on in this window, Damasio said that Bailly agreed to join AC Milan on loan. Revert back to April last year, Bailly signed a new contract with Man United until 2024. He's been at Manchester United for over 5 years. Manchester United got Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016. Manchester United paid £30 million. Reports from Spain said the other week that Man United will look to sell Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the summer because quite clearly they're not good enough to represent the club. Do you think Telles could leave this year? I hope not, because, you know, Telles has been impressive under Rangnick and he's our first choice left back under Rangnick. And Man United will look to get rid of Dean Henderson permanently. You know, Henderson doesn't get in goal much, does he? Because revert back to last summer, De Gea reclaimed that number 1 spot back. You know, Henderson's only made 2 appearances this season. And I initially thought Pogba was going to be leaving in the summer, but now there's been a U-turn, like I've already updated you. It said Paul Pogba is willing to stay at Manchester United as long as Ralph Rangnick is the manager. You know, Paul Pogba has been impressed by Ralph Rangnick since his arrival. And Pogba is open to signing a new contract. Pogba's contract at Manchester United expires in the summer. Well, revert back to the other month, the Sun said that Manchester United offered Paul Pogba a new £500,000 a week contract that would have made Pogba the highest paid player in Premier League history. But Pogba actually denied being offered that contract. Revert back to earlier on this season, Pogba apparently told Manchester United that he wants to join Real Madrid in the summer, but there again he said PSG is the most likely destination for Pogba, because Pogba did hold talks with PSG. The good news is, from a Man United perspective, that Pogba's set to return after this international break. Rangnick confirmed that earlier on this season. Pogba was out with injury for a while. Ralph Rangnick has been Manchester United's interim manager for almost 2 months. Manchester United are considering offering Rangnick the job on a permanent basis, because it said earlier on this week that Man United have put their search for a new manager on hold after being impressed by Ralph Rangnick since he took charge in December. Rangnick has 5 wins from 8 league games so far. He's only lost 1 game so far. Rangnick has managed 10 games for Manchester United in all competitions, and he's progressed Manchester United to the 4th round of the FA Cup. Don't forget, it did say the other day that Rangnick is willing to let 4 players leave following the emergence of Anthony Elanga. There's been good performances under Rangnick. There's also been poor performances as well. You know, Rangnick is Man United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then it did initially say that Rangnick would continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. Rangnick will receive a £500,000 bonus if he leads Manchester United to a top 4 finish. Rangnick earns £180,000 a week at Man United. Man United are in the top 4. Obviously, we moved into the top 4 after beating West Ham the other week 1-0. But revert back to earlier on this season, it was saying that, you know, Rangnick was under pressure, and it said, you know, that Rangnick was already losing the dressing room, and 17 Manchester United players were unhappy and wanted to leave. But he's no longer under pressure now. Manchester United changed formation under Rangnick. Obviously, our new formation is the 4-3-3 formation. To be honest with you, that formation seems to suit our standards under Rangnick. Obviously, Rangnick scrapped the 4-2-2 formation because quite clearly that formation wasn't working. Rangnick's made changes since he's come in, because revert back to earlier on this season, he brought Ewan Sharp in as an assistant coach and analyst, he brought Chris Armas in as an assistant coach, and he brought Saj Challens in as a sports psychologist. Before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Earlier on this season, Rangnick said that he wanted Erik ten Hag to become Manchester United's new manager in the summer. I presume there's a lot of Manchester United fans that would like to see Erik ten Hag get recommended in. You've got to admire the work he's done at Ajax. He's won a couple of titles with them. Revert back to 2019, he got Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals. And I like the way he develops young players. Erik ten Hag got appointed in as the Ajax manager back in 2017, so he's been Ajax manager now for around 5 years. His contract at Ajax expires next year. Ajax is the 4th club in Erik ten Hag's managerial career, because before Ajax he managed Utrecht, before then he managed Bayern Munich's reserves, and before then he managed Go Ahead Eagles. Mauricio Pochettino has been relentlessly linked with the permanent role at Man United. Pochettino is the PSG manager. Pochettino's contract at PSG expires next year. I think Pochettino's won a French Cup at PSG. He's a good manager, even though he's hardly won anything. He's proven in the Premier League, which is beneficial, because before, Pochettino endured a 5.5-year managerial tenure at Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his managerial tenure at Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4, but back in 2018, Pochettino guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. And at one point, he almost won the league when he was Tottenham manager. I think Tottenham made a bad mistake getting rid of Pochettino. Before Tottenham managed Southampton, he only enjoyed a short managerial tenure with them, but he still managed to guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So they're the clubs he's managed in the Premier League so far, and before then he managed Espanyol. And Brendan Rodgers, I've been hearing, is still on Man United's shortlist, but there's a lot of United fans that have got strong reservations about Brendan Rodgers becoming the club's next permanent manager. You know, Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson. You know, we sacked David Moyes after 10 months, then we sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite us winning the FA Cup under him. Then Manchester United sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years. Mourinho did enjoy one good season at Man United because he won 3 trophies in his first season. And obviously last year Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after almost 3 years in charge. You know, Man United have not been the same team since Ferguson retired, and like I've said before, no one's going to replicate what Ferguson no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did. Since Ferguson retired though, like I've said, you know, Man United have spent around £1.2 billion, and we've brought over 40 odd players in since Ferguson retired. And let me put into the equation, none of this squad is Rangnick. Rangnick is inheriting players who other managers have brought in. Man United have not won the Premier League since 2013. That's 9 years ago now. But we have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier League titles, and we haven't won a trophy overall since 2017. So I'm hoping we can win a trophy under Rangnick. As you all know, Woodward is stepping down at the end of this month, which is good news from a Man United perspective because Woodward has been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. Woodward's had a 17-year association at Manchester United. He said Richard Arnold will replace Woodward as the new chief executive on the 1st of February. The Glazers, they've owned Manchester United for around 16 and a half years. The Glazers bought Manchester United for 500 million back in 2005. Revert back to April last year, Manchester United fans protested against the Glazers at the Carrington training ground and Old Trafford because the Glazers were planning to scrap the Champions League for that European Super League. But in the end, Solskjaer at the time did confirm that the Glazers apologised. And Cristiano Ronaldo, I've been talking with you a lot about him recently. Ronaldo is unhappy at Manchester United. Reports from Spain have said, that Cristiano Ronaldo wants Real Madrid return. Before Ronaldo endured 9.5 years at Real Madrid. That's before he went to Juventus, and Ronaldo's already asked his agent Jorge Mendes to find him another club. Earlier on this season, Ronaldo was targeted by PSG. He gave an interview, didn't he, Ronaldo, a couple of weeks ago, and he was very critical of the youngsters, and he was demanding more from the youngsters. And Ronaldo obviously backed Ralph Rangnick to do a good job at Man United. And Ronaldo also said, I'm not a Man United to compete for 6th or 7th. Finishing below 3rd is unacceptable. So this is what Ronaldo said. Earlier on this season, it said Ronaldo faces a 25% pay cut should Manchester United fail to qualify for the Champions League. He said Ronaldo will leave Man United in the summer anyway if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. Ronaldo played against West Ham the other week, and he was good to be fair, but prior to the game he was a doubt because he picked up a neck injury, but obviously Ronaldo recovered from that neck injury. Ronaldo's had a few injuries since he re-signed for the club. Ronaldo was furious for being substituted against Brentford, but Rangnick defended his decision to substitute Ronaldo against Brentford. Since Ronaldo re-signed for Man United, he's got 14 goals in all competitions. He's got over 800 goals in his career. And Manchester United re-signed Ronaldo last summer for 20 million, with add-ons included. He wears a number 7 shirt, and he's under contract with Man United until 2023. There's an option of a further year. Ronaldo receives £480,000 a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United at the moment. But he's won over 30 trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. Like I updated you yesterday, Man United could lose 15 players to free contracts over the next 18 months. Manchester United do play Middlesbrough in the FA Cup 4th round next Friday, the 4th of February. It is at Old Trafford. I'm expecting Ralph Rangnick to rotate for that game. Manchester United will be going into the game having won their last 2 games in a row. Manchester United progressed to the 4th round of the FA Cup by beating Aston Villa in the 3rd round, 1-0. Middlesbrough, you know, they got to the 4th round of the FA Cup by beating Mansfield in the 3rd round. Middlesbrough, of course, are in the Championship. The last time Manchester United actually played Middlesbrough was back in March 2017. Manchester United won that game 3-1. Middlesbrough's manager is Chris Wilder. Middlesbrough appointed him in last year to replace Neil Warnock, because Neil Warnock got sacked from Middlesbrough last year. Chris Wilder's managed quite a few clubs in his managerial career, you know, before he managed Sheffield United. I remember when he was in the Premier League with Sheffield United, Wilder. One point he managed Northampton, before then he managed Oxford, before then he managed Halifax, and a while ago he managed Alfred Town, and I think at one point he was the Bury assistant. So there you go. And Manchester United's next league game is Burnley. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. What do you reckon to the news on Van der Beek and Greenwood? Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.